Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got ourselves a banging PvZ, but Dark, one of the most powerful Zergs in the world, is going to be playing Protoss. And I'm bloody excited because we never get to see Koreans off-race in tournaments. People always say they're better than Reina. Reina's the big guy who's been off-racing as Protoss. Doing that in tournaments, unheard of in StarCraft. You know, playing your main race is so difficult and takes so much time. And almost always, players that play more than one race just end up not being quite good enough. They're missing that little 2 or 3% of skill right at the top end to compete with the big dogs. But for years, people have said, Dark, Maru, they're actually the best off-racers. They're so good at it. They never play it in tournaments, though. So I've been here kind of shouting at people saying, please get them to sign up to a tournament. I've been trying to get them in off-race show matches, and it hasn't really panned out. And here we are in a weekly cup. This is actually a tournament game. Dark is playing against Wayne, a player that beat him last week, has got a 50% win rate versus him overall in terms of series wins and losses, actually has a single map advantage over him in all-time score. And Dark has chosen to play Protoss. It's the new season, the new map pool. To be fair, it's a best of 3, and he doesn't need to keep playing Protoss. He could swap back to Zerg, but I cannot wait to see how well he plays Protoss and what he has up his sleeve, because Dark plays ZVP in such a dirty fashion. He's always going for weird, surprising attacks. He's trying to Nidus Worm, surprise people with big, random, surprise Ling-Bane shoves. It's all trickery, right? There's very rarely does Dark play a solid, well-rounded ZVP. It's all, hey, look, I'm totally playing a normal game, and then suddenly there's 30 roaches and 6 queens on your doorstep. So, does he play Protoss dirty as well, or does he just try to play a purely defensive style? Because Reina is like a super defensive Protoss player, and he makes so many sick comebacks. His late game is hard to stop. Dark, I imagine, has a slightly different flavor, yet nonetheless with his dark killer instinct. And we're gonna, I don't know, maybe we see more of this. Maybe Dark starts playing Protoss a lot. Maybe we start seeing Maru off-race a little bit as well. Rest that poor shoulder injury he has. Play some of the other races. Don't need as much Marine Micro. It would be cool to actually see a reality where all of the top pros are competing, when you get to see kind of who is the best at every single race. What is that, guys? What am I looking at right there? That looks like 2 legs. Looks like the bottom half is like human type legs, and the top half is, I do not know. That's the first time I've actually tried to look at what's inside the tank. That one's empty. Something escaped from there. Probe is still just rotating around right now. It's a pretty standard opening for Wayne, going for it Ling speed into 3rd hatchery. And it looks like Dark is going for the economic build. He's chronoing his probes very hard. Looks like he's even saving chrono in the main. He's not chronoing the adepts, so it looks like he's just going to use that to deny scouting, and his probe will run home. APM, sorry, not exorbitantly high there for Dark either. I do wonder as well, if you can post in the comments, let me know your thoughts. Are you thinking Europeans are better or Koreans are better at off-racing? I know Serral's very good, Clem's very good, but I think a lot of the players have one good off-race and one much weaker off-race. I think that's the problem most players have. Reina was very promising for very many years. I mean, he had a very close series with Scarlet back when I'm pretty confident she was the best off-race player in the world. Her Terra Noise lagged behind a bit, but her Zerg and Protoss were both so exceptionally high that it didn't matter. We'll never forget Scarlet taking out Showtime in a PvP Phoenix War. That was kind of the first time I realized, holy crap, these pros should not be underestimated. Is this a Predator, guys? It really looks like a Predator in there. I think it's meant to be a Predator. Pig, obviously that's the xenomorph hybrid. Sorry, guys. I don't read your StarCraft novels. And as a result, yeah, I remember people were really excited about Nova when StarCraft 2 came out, and I was like, who? They're like, you don't know about Nova? You don't read the novels? And I was like, I do not. I do wonder if any of them are actually not utterly terrible. I know that's probably pissing off a lot of people, but I don't know. In my experience, there aren't that many kind of franchise books that are above low grade. But then again, I haven't read that many, so maybe I'm just judging a book from the cover. Who knows? Either ways, this looks like a Void Ray opening for Dark. Double gas before 3rd base into 2nd star. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, we've figured out exactly what kind of player Dark is, everybody. He's a bit of a piece of poo. He's just going to go to... Actually... Well, it is Phoenix. Is it? I thought he was going to go carriers, but there's no fleet beacon. Is he just going to play 2-star Phoenix? He's already taking 6 gas. I think he's going to probably play full Sky Toss from here. I wonder if he makes an air transition at any point, a ground transition, sorry, and adds storm and feedback and all that, or does he just chill the heck out? He hasn't really done any damage right now to Wayne. Wayne's up 10 workers, so Wayne's had a pretty solid build, but Wayne will need to take a fourth, and surprisingly, he hasn't actually mined these minerals out down here. It's getting past 5 minutes, and he has no scouting because his lair's so late. I say so late, that's actually a pretty normal timing, if not a good timing for a Zerg in this matchup at the top level, but definitely not giving him the info that he needs as early as he possibly could. That's a really dodgy wall off for Dark. Lings actually could run through there when the Adept's attacking. For those who don't know, when an Adept's attacking, its actual collision size decreases temporarily as it throws its attack. Oh, Spire. Wayne wants to play Mutas, but dude, against Mass Phoenix, that's I mean, Corruptors are okay, but I think Spellcasters are probably the more important thing, to be fair. Good reaction by Wayne. Stasis Trap saying, fine, nothing. And Dark truly is, you know, I thought he might be super cheesy. Like, Scarlet plays pretty aggressive and brutal Protoss timings a lot of the time. Dark, on the other hand, appears to be playing the lowest effort style of Protoss, which is Skytoss. To be fair, it's the Phoenix style. It's a bit more active. But in general, this is the most maligned style of playing PvZ, which is, I'm just going to make Phoenix behind my wall off with a Void Ray, and then I'm going to make carriers. Like, this is, yeah, the fleet beacon's down. The Phoenix are finally showing themselves. Wayne sees it. That Overseer will get taken out. Dark needs to get across this map. There are Spore Crawlers, but only one at each base. No more building. Okay, there we go. Starting to build a few more Spore Crawlers right now is Wayne. Has one gas up there. Only 69 workers. And those Overlords need to get to safety. You can see all the Overlords are trying to gather here in the natural with the Queens. And they should be able to protect it there. Ooh, a few drones are out in the open. That's going to be a bit costly. Dark does leave one Phoenix up top, still lifting right there. The Roaches think about going across the map. The Phoenix is just going to start to pick those off and pick them up and pick them off. 3 Void Rays building right now to start. Dark is going to go for Flux Phase. Wait. We're playing Mass Phoenix Void Ray? Oh, Dark is playing a troll style, ladies and gentlemen. He's playing a troll style. All right, I like it. I like it. This is, I mean, you could still go carriers after a few Void Rays, but going Mass Phoenix Void Ray, like I said about Spellcasters, this is so weak to Spellcasters. This might be a good move versus Wayne, though, because Wayne's not a late-game guy. Wayne is a mid-game Lair Tech guy. And as long as you're not making Infestors and Vipers, Phoenix Void Ray is going to be really good. The moment you make any sort of splash damage units, you know, Infestors and Vipers, Fungal and Parasitic Bomb, it's going to be terrible for Mass Phoenix Void Ray. But right now, it's working okay. Phoenix are going to pick up that Zergling. Phoenix have a kind of slow turn speed sometimes, so when you tell it to pick up a unit, you sometimes have to wait a second if they're not already facing that unit. So where you choose to pick up units and how you steer your Phoenix is actually very important. By the way, that's a big old weird tilted pyramid, isn't it? With a funny crystal floating above it. That is a, I don't know, weird bit of terrain I haven't really paid attention to before. Phoenix try to find a Corruptor, and he gets it. Gets a Corruptor, gets in, gets out. Nice play there by Dark. So few units have died this game. Nothing for Dark has gone down. That's about to change. Nice micro by Wayne. Gets one Phoenix. Should be getting 2. That overall good trade there. Getting 2 Phoenix down. Void Ray is still building. No carriers. And against Corruptors, that makes sense. Should be able to hang on. He's got 10 Void Rays versus 16 Corruptors. And these Phoenix can intercept these Corruptors as they come across the map. They're going to take pretty good fights versus the Rally. And manages to damage a few of these Phoenix, but you don't want to lose them. So you're just kind of tickling away, starting to damage them. The Corruptor's going to go in for PP by the looks of it. Dark's waiting with his Void Rays. He comes in. Immediately snaps a Corruptor, and Wayne has to back off. Infestation Pit is almost finished. Baneley Nest's on the way. But Wayne's wasting a lot of time, and that's the problem we've seen on Radhuset Station, is because it's so big and it's so easy to defend here. It is hard to kill your opponent. Surprisingly, I haven't seen anyone open up this left side, and I think that's the most important thing that everyone's ignoring. These rocks look intimidating, but if you attack the middle debris, it shares hit points with all the rest of the debris. So you attack one of the middle ones, it'll break the entire thing down, and then, what is that, 5 minerals? 10. And then it takes a few a few worker trips to just mine that open, which people are never watching for, so I really want to see that get taken advantage of a little more. Anyways, Roaches and Lings are coming in on that right side. Corruptor's going to try and dance into the main base, going after the Void Rays, but the Prismatic Alignment scares them back. Get out of there, Wayne. Does damage those Void Rays pretty hard, but can't stand and fight with that. Still no Infestors on the map. It is just mass Corruptor. If they could get into the main base and catch the units popping from the Stargates, they could take a good fight. They're going to try and catch these Phoenix now. Looks like one Phoenix will go down. So the Phoenix count has been severely diminished, but look at this, +3 air weapons on the way, whereas only +1 armor's done for the Zerg. Oracle barely survives there. Mass cannon going down as well. The Corruptors, one of those is going to go down. Trying to snipe the Void Rays while Prismatic Alignment's on cooldown. Mothership is about to pop out as well. Mama's going to join the fray. Phoenix going around the far left side of the map. And Dark right now is just trying to... Look at this. He's just building more and more cannons. He's just trying to make this as annoying as possible to play against. Wayne goes for the PP. Oh, he's going to lose 3 Corruptors for that. I think that was a 4th one went down as well. He's lost a total of 7 this game. Units lost tabs looking nasty. 3-1 in favor of Dark. He's still being annoying with his Phoenix as well. There is a single Viper on the way. I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to actually break through that. So many cannons. The Roaches and the Banes are rolling in. They can't do anything here. And it really feels like Wayne is up against a wall of unstoppable Protoss. Unless he could have got a Nidus in earlier or something like that. Dark just played a very chilled out game. It really feels like he didn't have to do that much this game. He's just like, as long as I'm happy to max out on 4 bases, we're good. And I was talking about, will he make a ground transition? There we go. Storm's on the way. He's building more gateways, so he's going to start adding High Templar for Storm and feedbacks. And that's going to be before the Vipers get here. There's no Broodlords out yet, right? There's only one Spire. There's no Greater Spire started. Which means as Archon, Zealots, and Storm come in, I mean, you're screwed if you can't make a bunch of Broodlords and Infestors to deal with what's going on. A few Infestors are now starting. Adrenal Glands +3 melee, so some upgrades coming in. Some Spines and Spores going across. But Wayne is not at a high worker count, only 72, so he's not building that big bank that you kind of need for a very long game. As a Zerg versus Protoss, you're going to build Spore Crawlers all over the map. And I feel like this is just Dark abusing this map so well. The Corruptors there probably should have moved to the right to trap those Phoenix, but they showed themselves from the south, giving Dark an out. And these Phoenix have been alive this whole game. They've got quite a few kills. 7 kills, 6 kills, 7 kills, 3 kills, and 5 kills across them. Second Spire goes down here. We've got those High Templar now starting to gather energy. Ultra transition for Wayne. So he's going to try and clear the High Templar with Ultras and then win with Mass Corruptor. It can work, but man, it's dicey when there's this many Void Rays. It is all about the Prismatic Alignment. Nice Abducts. Oh, he's going to try and grab Mama. Oh, that's enough Corruptors to one-shot Mama. You're kidding me. Ling's going after the High Templar. Oh, but he only gets 1 High Templar, I believe. The Roaches and the Banes are going to roll in. Pretty good micro so far, but you can't fight into Prismatic Alignment. Storm, Wayne, what are we doing? Oh my god. That few seconds there, he lost 10 Corruptors in that couple of seconds fighting into Storm and those prismatically aligned Void Rays. This is Dark just saying, look at my units lost them. This really is truly a Zerg player being like, this is why Protoss is broken. This is why Protoss is broken. You know, like, and I'm not saying Protoss is broken, but there are always things from every side that feel very unfair in StarCraft. This is kind of RTS games in general. There's a lot of new RTSs in development that I may or may not be playtesting on a daily basis. And every day, I play a game and I go, man, this feels so unfair. And then I, go and analyze and study and I realize what I did wrong and I realize it's maybe not as unfair as I thought, right? But the feeling of unfairness is there. And I think Dark has taken it, like every traumatized ladder Zerg in like Platinum League that's died to carriers. And he's like, yeah. Like, what does it feel like the Protoss does in those games? Well, they just, like, expand, they make some cannons, and then they just build a Void Ray or two, and then they just make flying units, and you just can never fight, and then they just trade better than you, and it's so unfair, man. And because this is not a hard way of playing Protoss. Like, yeah, he's been flying his Phoenix here, and he's doing a little bit of Zealot harass, but this is so easy. He's just like, yeah, I'll just do this. Oh, you're going to make Ultras? Okay, I'll add some Immortals. It's such a very slow, style compared to normal. But this is, of course, aided by the map. And I think what's going to be really interesting is, like, if you keep trying to play Protoss, can you pull it off on the other maps? Because this map is absolutely peculiar. It is a unique map in this new map pool. I'm actually surprised we aren't seeing it vetoed more. I thought we would see it vetoed a lot more. And I've seen it in a surprising number of series. But I think in the coming up, ESL Masters Winter, I think they're calling it. Are they calling it Winter? The one for Atlanta coming up. There's a big tournament coming up in December. The regionals are starting up for it. GSL in Korea, obviously just the ESL Masters EU regionals and America's regionals in the international scene. And I think we're going to see a lot of people vetoing this map as time goes on, but I'm not sure which races and which matchups are going to opt for it. I do think Protoss likes this map a lot so far. It's a lot of damage, actually. These zealots getting some good damage. Ooh, another carrier gets abducted. Not bad, but the feedbacks do punish the Vipers, so they're going to take a while to get their energy back. You have to go and consume that. Did he cancel his second Spire before, guys? I'm not having deja vu. Am I crazy? I'm pretty sure we saw a Spire building here at about this progress 2 or 3 minutes ago. But potentially I am a little bit brain damaged after casting StarCraft for this long, so I'll rely on the comments to let me know. 7 carriers, 10 Void Rays, 5 High Templar, 4 Archons, 3 Immortals, a 4th Immortals on the way. That's usually the magic number, because you're not normally focus firing that well. If you are focus firing, I guess it kind of depends a bit, because you got, what, 65 damage once you get to +3, but then the Ultras normally have like 7 armor or something like that, 5, 6 armor. You're going to be doing about 60 damage a shot per Immortal. So if you think about it, an Ultra has 500 hit points. You kind of want 5 Immortals if you want to 2-shot them. But otherwise, just, 3 or 4 Immortals. It'll do okay. It'll do okay. Fungal does catch a Void Ray. Interceptor's trying to fight, not getting that much done. Dark's starting to veer in right now with a pretty big scary army. You got to watch out for these Fungals, man. Oh, the Ultras are going to try to go for the High Templar. But no, the Immortals are slaying them. Doesn't even bother pulling back his High Templar. He's got a few of them in there. And they've still got Storms available. The Queens are going down as well. There's a few Infestors. The Vipers haven't got energy. The Vipers haven't got energy. Wayne did not send those Vipers to go consume because they're still on the control group. This is a big mistake. This is something you've got to remember to do, is separate those Vipers from your Corruptors while they're gathering energy. It's one of the more complicated things that Zerg players do tend to struggle with. Now, they do a little bit less damage to their own buildings as they consume off it. And they're going to get back up energy soon. Needs great parasitic bombs on those Void Rays. Oh, feedback on one of the Vipers. Both of the Vipers, in fact. It's only the Overseer that survives, and a bit too obvious there was Wayne trying to come in the flank. You got to come in from a surprising angle. You can't be predictable with what angle you come from. The Corruptors are going to go for it. They grab a carrier. A second one is going to go down pretty quickly, but he wasn't quite able to one-shot it in those Void Rays. They do eat a little bit of storm damage, but they didn't even activate Prismatic Alignment, and the units lost tab is disgusting. 2-1 in favor of Dark. He's walking forwards. It's a lot of Ultras, but he needs to get on top of the Archons, get rid of them while the Corruptors come in at the same time. You can't just fight one thing at a time. The Ultras are starting to clear some of these units, but man, those Immortals absolutely slay. Prismatic Alignment pushes back those units. The Vipers come in and abduct the carrier right next to itself, achieving nothing. And while the ground army does go down for Dark, how do you ever deal with the air army? Well, you do it now, right? And Dark says, lol, lol. And he says, nope, I'm going to use my get out of jail free card. Just teleport home, get those guys back, wait for more Storm, Archons, and Immortals, and then we're going to go again. And we're going to repeat these trades over and over. And Wayne is looking a little bit helpless. Now, to be fair, this is not Wayne's expertise, this stage of the game. Notice how Wayne is building mostly Ultraling Corruptor. This is a style Dark himself actually popularized in the early days of the Void Ray meta. If you guys didn't know about this, people used to just make Void Rays, make cannons, get straight to 4-base. A few years ago, this was 2021. It was just spamming Void Rays, and the Zerg would try to rush Broodlords, and it would turn to a standoff. Now, Dark was one of the few Zergs who, for the first 3-4 months, had really clever all-ins that would kill the Protoss player before they get there, but if he wasn't doing those, he would almost always play Ultra Corruptor. And people would say, well, Corruptors lose to Void Rays, and Ultras lose to, like, Immortals and stuff like that on the ground, so it's not a good composition. But Dark was the master of diving in and, like, killing all the carriers when they're out of position, or he'd surround with the Ultras and kill all the High Templar really quickly, and then the Corruptors would come in a few seconds later and there'd be no Psystorm left. So even though the Ultras would die, they'd have done their job and the Corruptors would kill the air army. And it was like this really cool thing, because everyone out there was like, how do I beat Skytoss this Void Ray style so hard? And everyone was like, well, if you watch Cyril's games, you should just make sure you get to 90 drones as quickly as possible. And what you want to do is you want to have a composition of Infestors and Vipers, Broodlords. You want to build at least 63 Spore Crawlers spread across the entire map while maintaining a good spread. Make sure you have 12 Broodlords, and use a separate hotkey for your Vipers, your Broodlords, separate hotkey for your Infestors, separate hotkey for your Queens, and your Corruptors. Make sure you constantly transfuse for maximum value efficiency, and use small tactical Ling-Bane Ravager run-bys in order to try and chip away at the Protoss' edge bases. Basically, people would just be like, yeah, play like the best player in the world. Like it's actually so funny, because StarCraft, because it's a strategy game, there's like these nerds who are like, hey, how can I get better with my dribbling skills? And they're like, just fucking play like Messi, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, well, that's literally the worst advice I've ever heard in my entire life. That is absolutely appalling. And then you watch Dark, and I'm like, that's what average Joes should be doing. Making Ultra Corruptor and just trying to make sure they hit sharp enough windows of attacks and jump on top of the opponent and focus fire the air units with the Corruptors, overwhelm the ground with the Ultras, and try to clear them out, you know, because that's an easy army. All you do is move the Ultras. You just have to micro your Corruptors. You don't need to use any spellcasters. And it was like a pretty cool style that worked for a while. Now, over time, the Protoss got really good at just never giving Dark the engagements he needed. They would just camp, wait for the perfect moment, and then fight. And I think Dark learned that lesson well during that age. And I think he's applying it now against Wayne, where he's like, yeah, I'm just not going to give you that opportunity, man. Feedback does go down. There's still 2 Vipers with energy. Now, what you got to really do here, you notice the control group, he's sent the Viper to get energy. He's queued it up to go back and consume, right? But he's also taken it off his control group. If we click the control group, notice that's not selected. So that's actually a really cool move. Oh, he just abducted, I think, another carrier. And Mama goes down again. Minus 300, minus 300. 2 Mamas down. Ooh, Great Aspire is almost finished. So often what I'll do is I'll queue this to consume twice and then go back to some sort of like to my rally point. If I have like a rally point, something like that, so you can continue microing your other Vipers in the meantime, and then once in a while you go back to your rally point, grab the Vipers that are now full on energy. No, not into the Watchtower, Wayne. You can't fight to the Watchtower, mate. He's always going to see you coming. The drones are all going to go down there as well. Didn't run his drones away. I honestly don't know what Wayne can do here. This is always such a hard position. If they have this kind of correct mix of units, some Void Rays, some Immortals, some High Templar. Usually the way you do this is you clear their vision by always having Overseers and trying to get rid of Observers. And you want to come from a surprising angle where you can try to fungal the High Templar, jump on top with your ground army, and then come from a different angle with your air army. And if you're looking to just pick off those Protoss units, you want to kind of take advantage of his vision. If you get rid of this Observer, you see his vision's on the left. You come in from the bottom if that Observer isn't there right now. Or you come in from the top, grab 2 carriers, kill them. And the High Templar are often mostly guarding one angle of the army. So your trick is to avoid the Protoss vision and come in from that surprising front. And that's where you can catch them off guard. Something which Wayne's failed to do so far. And these Observers are really causing him problems, especially this one, which he's finally going to see. And we'll get rid of that Observer. Hatchery in the top's going to go down. No cancel. That's a kill. Oh, Dark Templar killing a bunch of fresh spines as well. That's a lot of value going down. Remember, each one of those, you're losing the drone inside and the 100 or 75 minerals. Oh, no refund if that gets killed, man. You have to cancel it to get the money back. Dark Templar does go down. There's people out there who say that about upgrades. It's not true, by the way. If this structure dies, the upgrade money is fully refunded. That is how it works. Assuming the upgrade's not finished, of course. Dark Templar does go forwards on the south. Dark right now is just making this look simple. He's on 10k resource bank. Units lost tab, 13,000 resource advantage. I gotta say, Dark is playing a very clean technical late game, and he's definitely outclassing Wayne. Oh, the carrier and a Warp Prism going down. Great abducts. The only thing here is I don't feel Dark has played the highest activity style of PvZ. And even Raynor, who has excellent PvZ, I mean, we got to cast him recently. He hasn't been practicing as much Protoss. In Pigsty Festival, he played against Solar, and he made an amazing comeback in, I think it was game 1 or 2. But after that, despite that, like, his early game just wasn't able to compete on an interactive level. And that's where the real skill comes from. It's like, can you macro this well and transition this well while also constantly adept harassing and oracle harassing in the early game, finding damage, dealing with Ling run bys and backstabs, dealing with roach pushes. This has been a low activity game on a really good map for this style. Dark showing he can play when he's got the advantage in the style, but oh, hold that thought. Euro Parasite comes down on some Arc, on some nice fungals. He wants to kill the High Templar, but they're not dying right now. Dude, those High Templar just won't go down. Corruptors coming in from the left right now. They're going to try and take out some of the Void Rays. There's still Storm Energy available, but not for long. The Fungal takes it down. One last Storm goes down. That was actually a pretty sick fight for Wayne. That was the first good fight for Wayne this whole time. He's only down 9,000 resources now, so he traded very positively there. The problem is he doesn't have as much bank to rebuild. He's out of gas, right? He's down to 36 drones. Dark has 72 workers. Dark may be down in the army supply in a lot of these scenarios. He's going to go for the Blinkstalker rebuild. Oh, that's dirty. He's going to go for the Blinkstalker rebuild here. Tempests, Immortals, and Stalkers. Oh my gosh. So he's basically just saying, I have more money than you. I'm just going to go kill your bases now because I know your whole army's in like Corruptors, Infestors, and Vipers, stuff that can't handle ground. This is forcing Wayne to build Zerglings. They are 3/3 Adrenal Zerglings, but these are 3/1/3 Stalkers. They're actually really well upgraded, and those armor upgrades especially and shield upgrades will really help first those Zerglings. Gold base is going to go down in the bottom as well. Oh, good fungal. Could trap a few of these stalkers here with the broodlords. Broodlords are a little faster, but remember, they do less damage these days. And oh, that fungal whiffs. Broodlords actually dying to stalkers in the bottom of the map. He's going to take out some of these broodlords here in the top left at the same time. The Ultraling's going to jump on it. Oh, the stalker's trying to blink back. We can see only 2 broodlords survive that fight down the bottom, guys. Only 2 broodlords survived there. That lower damage on those broodlords looking much worse in these sort of scenarios. Small skirmishes, a few broodlords versus a few stalkers, you really get to see it's much weaker. Even though I do think the broodlord is still very good against, say, siege tank armies, where their main job of making tanks kill their own units and widow mines shoot their own units is still there. When it comes to their raw fighting power, they are nowhere near as powerful as they once were. Dark Templar coming in. The Infestors could fungal these, and with the Spinecrawler defend it. But at the same time, Corruptors unzip their fly. They do take out one of Dark's bases. Dark spent his whole gas bank. Dark is still ahead 10,000 resources, though, and I think that's probably going to be enough. He kills the gold base down here as well. And what have you got? You've got one big army as Wayne. You've got next to no income. Dark still has this base, and I mean, the gold going down is a problem. He's got 4 mineral patches there, a tiny mineral patch there. All the back bases, the first 3 are mined out. He's probably going to try and take this base in the top as well. I wouldn't mind him taking this base here and just continue to focus on denying the gold, to be fair, but I think he wants to focus on defending his gold for now. 4 carriers, 3 Tempests are going to be worthless units against the 28 Corruptors. I don't think his Remax made a lot of sense, to be fair, but the Immortal Stalker Archon definitely beats 4 Ultras and 20 Zerglings. Mama and the carriers are in trouble right now. The Stalkers are going to do damage. Wayne doesn't have a ground army. He knows he can't beat that with 2 Broodlords and 4 Ultralisks. Dark takes out a disgusting, abusive game 1 on Radhuset. All right, well, he's brave as all heck. He's going to play Protoss again in game 2. Dark in the bottom right on Oceanborn. A smaller map, more wide open ramps, easier for the opponent to attack, harder for you to defend 3 and 4 bases. And this is going to be a much bigger test. Remember what I was saying? Where Dark has shown that he can defend very well. In a very static situation and then play a very technical, slow late game. But if you increase the pace, the speed, and you force him to have a lot of muscle memory requirements, will he be able to do that? Now, looks like that drone is proxy hatching. What is this? What is Wayne doing right now? Is this a proxy hatch? I'm very confused. So he's either taking a third or pretending to take a third. I guess he's just going very roundabout to make sure his drone doesn't get spotted. It is a 3 hatch before pool, but he's going to hatchery block. Okay. All right, so Dark's going to be in here harassing the minerals, looking for a spawning pool. And that, in about 8 seconds, will tip him off. But that's, of course, the same moment where this pylon sees this anyway. Dark wants to go for a Nexus next at 400 minerals and 20 supply. But look, the drone comes in. And hatchery goes down. And this is it. Already, Wayne is going to throw some curveballs at Dark and says, yeah, I am not letting you play a clean, organized game like the last one. You're going to need to show some high-level responses. Second gateway, Zealot. Cybercore goes down. I don't know if that's a wall-off on the bottom. We need a second pylon right now, Dark. Dark, second pylon's a little bit slow for him there. I normally wouldn't chrono a Zealot out this early, specifically because you will hit your supply block, and now you can't probe. As a result of that, I would always prioritize the second pylon as the very first highest order of priority against this. But this shows that maybe Dark isn't as practiced against these sort of situations. Now he's going second gas as well, so he's kind of being forced to play one base. Cancels the second Zealot. Looks like he wants to just go for a double adept counter pressure, but that means this hatchery could finish, spread creep around a little bit, and deny his Nexus for many minutes. You definitely know you need to do counter pressure because you know that this is 3 hatchery before pool. As Dark, you've seen a hatchery there, hatchery at home. You know the gas and pool is super late. Ling speed, Queen, Zerglings will be so late, and it is your job to go straight across this map with these adepts. These adepts cannot be rallied to this Nexus. They should be rallied forwards here. Maybe he just wants to shade across the map and just get a bit of bonus damage on the hatchery, but only getting one Zealot out is a problem. This is what I said about chrono boosting the Zealot. Start the second pylon, then you can go for the Zealot. Then you get the second gate, the core, and then you chrono the Zealot so that it chronos both the first and second Zealot consecutively. Now look, he's building 2 Zerglings as Wayne, but these adepts need to be doing counter pressure. There's no defense at home, but he's missing the window where those Queens and Lings are now. And look at this, Lings are popping. One gets inside the base right now. Oh my god, Twilight Council's on the way. More adepts are coming. I think Dark is over-responding right now to this, and it's crazy because Dark is a guy who uses this sort of opening a little bit. I thought he would be better at responding to it. But Dark is generally a guy who is incredibly sloppy and just feels things out in the early game. And you can get away with that with Zerg. Can you get away with that with Protoss? My instincts say no, you can't. We're going to see if Wayne can punish him for it. The Nexus has not started. Meanwhile, I think a third hatchery will be up pretty soon. There's already going to be 16 Zerglings and Ling Speed momentarily up against a quick resonating Glaives before even expanding. Wow. Dark is supply blocked again. That's his third slight supply block of this game. First 2 Adepts are over here. He's got another 2 Adepts about to arrive. This is great pressure because it's forcing mass Zergling. However, if he loses these Adepts, it's not worth it. He's got to realize that he's not got that many drones, Wayne, and it's his job to just chill out and not lose these Adepts. If he loses them, he's in big troubles. Still no Nexus behind it. There we go. It finally goes down. Dark is going to try and go in with those Adepts. He's looking for some damage, but there's so many Lings, and with Ling Speed about to finish, he's got to go home right now. 5 Adepts are out on the map. He's got number 6 building. Lings are going to try and chase him. You got to shade home right now, Dark. He's going to lose one of these Adepts that's exposed at the front. Oh, beautiful shuffle micro, but it was target fired by Wayne. The Zerglings do take down that 1 Adept. This is only 1 gateway, or 2 gateways, guys. Dark Shrine comes down behind this as well. That's a pretty big gamble. There's a Baneling Nest on the way for Wayne, though. What the hell? Wayne's only on 28 drones and has just started the 3rd hatchery. Not getting those Zerglings. This is actually really good for Dark now, because he's forced mass Zerglings. He's forcing a Baneling Nest. He himself is able to probe up. He's not far behind in probes, and he kind of should be, you know. He should be kind of far behind in probes. The Adepts are shading behind the wall off. The problem for Dark is he doesn't have any vision. Glaives is finishing, so he's probably going to want to move out. And if these Overlords see this for Wayne, he can make Banelings surround the Adepts, blow them up, and then maybe counterattack. The Overlords aren't well positioned right now for Dark. That's an issue. He doesn't see this coming just yet. He's got 20 Zerglings, but it is only 6 Adepts. I think 22 Zerglings, 4 or 5 Queens should be okay against this, as long as he gets those Queens forward to defend, and that is the Dark special. Every single Queen is on 1 control group. This man doesn't inject. He just uses his Queens to fight. Dark, an absolute savage in that regard. The drones stack up there. He loses 2 of them. The Lings are going to come around here. Oh, nice recall for Dark. Does lose a 2nd Adept there as well to the Banelings, but wasted a bunch of mining time. The drone count got very wounded there. 33 drones versus 35. Wayne is looking pretty decent, but he doesn't know about the Dark Templar. Let's see if he finds out, guys. He sees it. He sees it. He sees it. He immediately starts Spore Crawlers. He saw that blur walking right past him. That's the problem with top-level players, guys. You have to move Dark Templars across the map outside of their eye line. If it's along the army path where their units are running back and forth, they're just going to see it because they're monitoring their army all the time, and they notice those blurs so very quickly. So there are 3 spores up, 37 drones on the way, 6 more on the way, melee coming in now as well. Dark's going to come with the Dark Templar, try and do some harass. But he's got a conundrum for himself, and that is, how do you secure a 3rd? He's moving out with the Adepts and the Glaives. He's got the Dark Templars trying to find damage and not able to. He can at least just deny creep for a little bit, but he's got to play this a little bit slow and just chill with those Dark Templar. I think he's trying to let a Baneling blow up on him. 3rd Nexus starts. Now, this is just Lings, no lair. Roach Warren's just started. And it's a pretty similar economy, but Wayne is now going to start droning very hard. Dark is droning. He's making Blink. Now, Blink is good generic defensive tech, but you need to be an absolute god of Blink play in order to win games with Blink Stalkers. And that is very, very hard to pull off. So I think what he should be going for is probably Disruptors or Colossus. He's also going to go for a Dark Templar drop. I wouldn't mind him just morphing those into Archon. Archons can move in between these single space gaps these days, so it's much easier to chase drones down. Speaking of chasing down workers, those Lings go after it and they get 2 probes very quickly. +1 melee isn't even done, but very effective nonetheless. Dark Templar drop comes in towards the main base, maybe going a bit too deep. I would have preferred him dropping the natural. That's a lot of Queens. And, well, he kills a Baneling, forces the Queens to move around, gets in, gets out. Dark's been doing a lot better on his injects right now. He's still only on 5 Queens total, and notice all 5 are on 1 control group. Anytime he needs to respond to something, he pulls all of his Queens. That's just Dark's MO. He's the best player at quickly pulling his Queens. It also means that doing light pressure like that does tend to disrupt his macro quite a bit. Robobay is on the way. We've got 2 Archons here, so it is going to be a delayed Archon drop. 2 gases coming in. I mean, Dark's looking okay, but I do think Wayne survived well enough, and he's now just in the lead. 4th is on the way. He's got Roaches building. Lair is finished, so we should be seeing Roach speed and then Baneling Nest. He's building a 2nd Baneling Nest because he forgot that he has one from the early game that he built. Archon drop comes in, not able to get any drones. Good quick pullback there by Dark. Cancel your Baneling Nest, Wayne. You don't need it. You don't need it, mate. You don't need it. All right, what do we got? Gateways going up in the main base as well. Dark here is looking like, I feel like, yeah, I really want to see disruptors. You've seen a lot of roaches. I think at least 1 or 2 disruptors before thinking about Colossus is the way to do it. But so many Protoss players are just dead set on me build Colossus no matter what lately. But Dark, hey, good understanding as a Zerg. You see lots of roaches, you know disruptors are going to be absolutely money. There is still a creep tumor down there, but he did miss that one. Just going to pick off this active tumor on the right side as well. Going to go for one more. Doesn't quite get it. The queens and the roaches will respread. This creep tumor on the bottom, looking pretty damn healthy. Second robo's on the way as well. 6 more gateways. So it's going to be, oh, make it 7. Make it, oh, wow. We're going to like 9 or 10 gateways. 10 gate Stalker Disruptor. Okie dokie. Wow. Wowzers. Dark has not been warping in that many units, but he wants to explode his production right now up against what is a 72 mass Ravager Ling-Bane timing. The Disruptor shots are going to be essential. The problem is Dark has not walled off his third. He's not limited the surface area. He's going to have to deal with Banelings going straight towards this mineral line. Units coming in from there, units coming in from here, and some might even try to run past into his natural. That's going to be quite hard to defend, especially when he moves out to take a 4th. Cannon goes up in the natural. There's also a cannon in the main. So Dark is saying, yeah, I'm probably going to let Lings in my base at some point, and I'm ready for it. The depth's going across the map, +2 attack on the way as well. It's all about, can I secure a 4th, and can I weather the storm right now? Baneling speed did upgrade on the new Baneling nest. Yep, Wayne completely forgot about the other one. Did we get roach speed this game? Yeah, we did. +1 melee and +1 range is done. Gonna go for that timing attack now. You're almost maxed out as Wayne. It's time to go. Dark has only got 2 disruptors. He's not using that second robo yet. He really needs to use that second robo, but he's supply blocked. That's why the Colossus wasn't starting. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see how Dark micros this. His whole army's on 1. It's just a pack of Stalkers, 2 Archons, and he's got those 2 Disruptors. 2 Disruptors. Oh my god, a big first shot comes out. A second one as well. Oh my god, big first and big second shot. The Stalker's trying to pull back. There's one more Disruptor there, but he's kind of outnumbered right now. There's just so many Banelings crashing forwards. They just roll into the Stalkers, the Archons, blowing up everything. A lot of drones going down to Adepts on the other side of the map. That's why 13 drones did go down. Dark Templar warping in to try to hold on, but these probes... Oh, no. The Baneling hits them. They start going off to the surface of the ocean. And Dark cannot hang on. Just mass Ravager Ling-Bane. Well, he ain't afraid. He's going to play Protoss yet again in Game 3, the deciding match. Going on to Alcyon, Dark in the bottom left. We're representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming up against Wayne representing Starlight Twinkle. I kid you not, guys. That's what it says. Starlight Twinkle. Best team in the universe. Ooh, 12 pool. Okay, so Wayne has made a very clear decision, guys. Wayne is like, I am just not going to let you play your game. That game felt better for me. I put the pressure on from the start. And, I mean, to be fair, I actually thought Dark would be further behind after getting supply blocked so early. A second pylon being a little late, not getting his depths across the map as quick as I thought. He actually managed that whole period so well. And Dark came out in a very playable position. I do think he could have got back in the game, even though he was a little behind. But like we said, all about better or more Disruptor shots and more Archons. Stalkers don't... They're okay, but they're not the most efficient against that sort of giant attack. Because I would say, I feel like the Blink Stalker is exceptional at stopping like just 50 drones, 60 drones, 66 drone attacks from Zerg. But like that hit, you know, with 20, 30 roaches, right? And big pack of Zerglings, that sort of stuff. But if they're hitting you with like 30 roaches, 50 Banelings, 70 Zerglings, it feels like the Stalker does very little against that. And, oh, it's 12 pool and a hatchery. Oh my god, guys, I did not even realize the drone was going across the map. I was not paying attention at all. Where's that second pylon? Second pylon, Dark. Dark, the second pylon is so important, my friend. Okay, looks like he's just saying, screw it. I want to go Cybercore. I'm happy to supply block myself here. Goes Cybercore, goes for the Zealot. I always feel like delaying that Zealot by a second is well worth it. Second pylon on the front goes down now, but notice he's once again chronoing a Zealot out, and then he's just going to be supply blocked for the second Zealot. This one, not as much downtime will be there. Looks like it's going to be about a 5-second supply block. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh man! Okay, he's actually going to get in. This is a problem. This is a problem. That probe, he's not pulling it back because he doesn't want to get surrounded. Oh, Dark, he should have pulled the Zealot back. That was a huge mistake. He needed to run back. He did not get that Zealot out in time. And to be fair, maybe he did need to chrono that Zealot, guys. I did not realize maybe the rush distance on this map is even smaller than I thought. That is crazy. He's losing pylons right now. He has to pull probes. Wayne catching him off guard with just the viciousness of his 12 pool. And that is a big problem for Dark. If Dark had his probe on hold position further up in the wall rather than so far back, he would have been fine. That's something you guys have to remember. If you're worried about that timing, put the probe on hold position in the front of the wall. Maybe Dark's gateway was a few seconds late. This is actually something I'm learning. I did not realize, but this natural is actually quite close to their main ramp on this map. This is kind of wild. Sorry, that was a pretty jagged panning there. Bad observing. Queen's building here right now. There is a natural and droning going up behind it. So it looks like this is more of a distraction than anything else. And to be fair, that's going to do very well. Oh, I like that he's focusing the lava. That's actually really cute for Dark. But he's down to just 17 probes. He's already lost 5 workers. He's going to go for the Overlord. Now, remember that thing has a ton of armor. If you click it, you could take it down, I believe. But he's not done it in time, so that Overlord will finish. All right, we've got 2 adepts building at a time. It's just a macro transition so far. From what I can see from Wayne, 2 more queens building. Drones, yeah. Full macro transition. He just needs to defend the adept counterattack. And Dark right now, his whole hope is resting on these adepts. He's got a 4th adept, a 5th adept building. He's a bit supply blocked right now, but the 3rd pylon is finishing. He needs to go kill him right now. He needs to go do damage, keep Wayne stuck on 19 drones for the next few minutes of this game. The single zealot and the adept will eventually clear this out, but they're going to take a long time to do it. These 3 adepts are on the other side of the map. They're forcing Zerglings. Remember, there's no link speed started just yet. There is almost 100 gas. These adepts getting inside the main base. And you've already seen a lot of Zerglings, so you know to play this very careful as Dark. You're like, okay, don't get surrounded. If I get surrounded, he can go back to droning. But as long as I keep the pressure up, I can deny mining, see if there's anything sticking out, see if there's any pickoffs. And look at that, good cancel, great cancel, gets a drone, gets a 2nd drone. He's now going to have to shade away. While trying to run, gets a few Zerglings, but look at that surround for Wayne. Wayne's going to get a 2nd adept, I think. And he does. Oh, very nicely done. You got 2 drones, mining time. You've done some good damage here as Dark, but the pressure is over, and that's never what you want to have happen. Because look at this. Now that adept's going to go down as well. Even if it finishes its shade, it's going to survive for like 2 seconds till the queens deal with it. There are 2 more adepts, but they've gone home now. You do have a worker advantage, but there's no nexus because that creep took so long to get rid of. And oh, that's a big problem. Losing that zealot at the start. If you had 2 zealots to keep working on that hatchery, it goes down so much quicker. And you don't lose those 5 probes, but just a slight mistake for Dark. And these are the little mistakes that add up as a Protoss player, you know. It's easy to look at your opponent in StarCraft and go, Imba, Skytoss, carrier, re. Not that I think Dark says any of that. But the moment you play as the other faction, you realize there's like 1,000 things that everyone can lose to that feel super unfair. It's like, wow, you rallied some Zerglings and I was slightly out of position, so I die. You know, it's kind of so funny, just the massive respect and appreciation you get for how hard things are for everyone in StarCraft when you play a bunch of all the races. I think that's the most nice thing is just that true, because you can know on an intellectual level, oh, it's easy to die to Ling rushes. Protoss players say that. But if you're just on the side of executing them, you're like, man, I don't know, it doesn't feel that good. Then you go play Protoss for a bit and you're like, okay, I have an appreciation for how, you know, clean they need to be on the hold to actually defend this now. Now I appreciate it after being on the receiving end. For me, I feel like the medicine is if I play Reaper on the North American ladder, like a bunch of games in a row, and I'm like, oh my god, he can kill me with literally anything. Under 20 drones. There are 10 different variations of Zerglings, drones, and Ravagers, and they just kill me. And I'm like, it just seems so unfair. It seems so hard to stop. But as always, it's just dragging your opponent into your territory. Now, Dark's doing a good job of keeping these adepts in a corner where they can't really get surrounded, but that's a lot of Zerglings, and he's got to cancel that. He's got an Oracle out, which can maybe find some damage on the follow-up waves. The 3rd base is kind of slow for Wayne. It's funny because I look at this and I feel like Wayne could be building his economic advantage a little faster. On the other hand, he's giving no windows for Dark to harass. And he knows that that's Dark's style. Look at the worker advantage now. 11 worker advantage. Oh, I kind of feel Dark should have gone after those drones rather than the Queen. Queen's good. I mean, he gets a spore and a thing there. He's getting good harassment damage. He's just so far behind on workers that I don't know if it matters. He's trying to start a 3rd base right now. I think Dark needs to make a risky call. What I would do as Dark is I would try to go straight to charge Archon. And basically say like, hey, if we can get out like really efficient like Archon into disrupted defense, that's great. Because Zealot, Archon, spread out, very good verse like Ling-Bane, as long as you don't clump up for the Banelings. And you get some disruptors to deal with the Roaches. You have Oracles for air harass. There is melee on the way. Baneling Nest once again for Wayne. 48 workers, building 5 Overlords right now. I guess a little bit of a supply block there. More Oracles building. We've got a Twilight and a Forge going down. 3rd gas starts. Looks like Dark just wants to play Stalkers here. That's not a bad way to play. Stalkers are definitely one of the best well-rounded early mid-game defensive units, and very good for vicious timing attacks as well. But Dark's been down a solid 10 workers for a while. You can see the income advantage. It was slightly ahead for him a few minutes ago. That was just when he forced all those drones to run away from the Adepts. Oh, gets a queen. Hey, that's not too bad. Dark gets a queen. Make it 2 drones as well. Doesn't quite get the 3rd. Void Ray cleaning up over. I mean, he's getting good value here. It's just one of those things where you see Protoss getting all this value in a game where they've been down on 10 drones for a long time, and you're like, this offsets a small part of your deficit. That's all it does. The Lings are breaking the rocks. What the hell? What is this? Guys, he's massing Zerglings off 54 drones. Wayne has got a 4th on the way. He's got 5 queens, but he's just massing Ling-Bane. He's got +1 melee done. Dude, is he about to dark? Dude, is he about to dark? I think he is. He's got mass Ling-Bane. He's going for a random Ling-Bane timing, and Dark hasn't seen it coming. This is one of Dark's favorite moves in this matchup. Dark's Adepts go out. He's going to see the Ling-Bane morphing. I don't know if he notices it, though, because the Oracles are busy microing right now. Oh god, oh my god, the Adepts just run past. Oh, that's not good. Oh god, he needs everything at home to defend, but he's got nothing there. The Lings are going to charge in. He's trying to go for his own harassment. He looks at home and he's like, oh wait, where'd that come from? Dude, you're getting Bane busted right now. Wayne actually sends the Banelings home, which is a bit unnecessary, but I guess he figures just killing the 3rd is all he needs. Dark somehow actually gets 8 drone kills. I guess Wayne was a little slow to evacuate his drones as well. The chaos getting to both of these players. Queens are blocking the Banelings there right now. The Adepts are going to shade on past into behind that main base. Or natural base. They shouldn't be able to hit anything there, though. Void Ray comes in from the left, going to try and take out that hatchery. Very unlikely to be able to pull that one off. Few Zerglings go down, but of course they surround the Adepts and shut them down, and that is the most important part. Wayne kills the 3rd. If he can keep his own 3rd base alive, he will be miles ahead in this game. He's building a Hydrodent and +2 melee. Lincoln +1 on the way, but that's not going to make up for the deficit you're at now. Dark played a very good game 1. We saw that if you force enough interaction and kind of weird builds where you need technical responses, Dark doesn't have that experience. And this, to me, the fact that he kind of got a little behind 2 games in a row to different hatch blocks, it tells me that he's probably not as practiced with his Protoss as someone like, I think Raynor's a little better versus this. Raynor might struggle with the multitasking of like the Oracle Adept harass a little bit more, but I think he would be a little better at defending this. Of course, you never know. Any given day, anything can happen. 4 Oracles are out, 5th one on the way. Dude, Oracle's really good for defending the Ling-Bane swarm and then the Ravages that you're expecting to come. When he sees Hydras popping out, he's going to be so sad. Dark's just going to be like, well, Oracles... Yeah, technically, Oracles are good versus Hydras, believe it or not. But it's like a, you know, it's a numbers game. They're going to just have enough Hydras to kill the Oracles before they can inflict that crazy pulsar beam damage, which sucks. So, you know, if you have 10 Oracles, they have 15 Hydras, you could probably win that fight with those 10 Oracles. But you have 5 Oracles and they have 20 Hydras, which is looking more like what we're going to be seeing. 5 Oracles. He's going to have 6 versus 13 Hydras so far. I don't think that's enough Oracles. It's still more than double the Hydras to the Oracle count. They have a range advantage as well. Void Ray on the right side over here. Still staying alive this whole time, seeing the Hydras. Dark's got to feel his heart sink. Has he got a Robo Bay yet? I don't think he does. So what do you do? He's got 15 Stalkers and 6 Oracles. He's like, well, let's go forward to at least get some room to try and blink back and defend myself. Wayne is on 72 workers. An income that is absolutely roaring, taking a gold base on the right after breaking those rocks as well. Void Ray is going to harass that, but of course Queens or Hydras could go defend that whenever they feel like it. Oracle steering around the right side. There is no splash damage on the way. Dude, I feel like you need Psystorm or Colossus. I mean, Colossus are absolutely king versus Ling Hydra. Storm is also very good defensively. Void Ray's getting some great damage on the hatchery. He needs to get that one out of there, though, as those Hydras come in. And, oh, nice ambush by Dark. Actually baits a few of the Hydras over, but even there, even catching Wayne not looking, there's just not enough Oracles to overwhelm in a clean fight. It ends up becoming a trade. It's a messy trade for Wayne, but a messy trade is good when you're this far out on economy. 70 workers versus 52. Dark looking pretty decent in some scenarios, but I feel like Wayne just very cleverly took advantage of a player who he knew was off-racing. And this is what you do when you're up against off-race players. You don't necessarily just play the standard macro game. They might be very good at certain situations, but you probe their entire skill set and you say, I know you're not going to be as practiced as a guy who's been playing this full-time for 10, 15 years. There is no way. And indeed, Wayne finds the weakness 2 games in a row. Dark looked pretty good from behind in these games. but not enough to take down Wayne. And it's kind of funny because that puts Wayne ahead in his head-to-head win rate versus Dark. He was 50-50 in ZVZ. He's now 100% in Zerg versus Protoss versus Dark's Protoss. Dark looked pretty impressive, but he's not going to blow us away just yet. I don't think he's a contender for best off-race player just right now, but maybe with some more practice.